Hey guys, great morning, great whatever day this is, morning. Hopping on here. I'm out walking a little bit and wanted to talk to y'all about power in the process. Power in the process, progress in the process, and why you should love the process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nicole Cooper. I'm an online business development coach and consultant. And I show people how to turn their businesses, their expertise into 6 and 7 figure businesses by creating high value programs in the form of coaching, consulting, or high service based businesses. So I wanted to come on here and high value, I don't know what I said. High services, high value services. So here's the deal. I want to talk to you about the power and progress of process. Right? I work with, okay. Y'all can probably hear my navigation system trying to find a coffee shop. All right, cool. So here's the thing. Y'all, I work with a lot of people. And what I see is a lot of people are impatient. Because of social media, we have this concept of instant gratification, immediate success, and we turn our nose up. Okay, trying to figure this out. In our process of building something, we get aggravated and we lose our cool because stuff isn't happening overnight. And so what I notice is that social media has made us lose the concept of a process. It's made us assume that the minute you try the first thing, that it's going to be a hit. And people don't get to see, people don't get to see the process, right? So I personally have been in this industry of building businesses. I've been building businesses for over 25 years, but I've been building online businesses for over 15 years. And I've had a chance to be in a lot of circles and witness and experience a lot of things, right? In that process myself, there was an assumption that I would always be on top. There was an assumption that once you get access to the information, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything. You will always rise. You will always be building from a mountaintop. And I quickly learned that, I don't know if I'm at the right place. I quickly learned that knowledge does not equal the skip in the process. Right? And I remember having a conversation. Sorry, y'all, I was going up a hill. But I remember having a conversation with one of my good friends and accountability partners. And I was frustrated. I was like, man, I've been at this for a long time. I feel like I should be a lot further than where I am. He said, Nick, let me ask you a question. He said, do you think you've really been at this for a long time or that you've been talking about it for a long time? He said, see, you've been talking about it for a long time. You know what to do, but you haven't necessarily been putting forth the steps and the action plan to produce the results, right? And so he started encouraging me. He was like, if we look at your real timeline, you're just getting started. And so I was like, you know what? You are right. I've been talking about doing something for a long time. I've been mapping it out. I've been strategizing. And I've been thinking about it, but I hadn't done it. And so what that did for me was get me to realize that every single thing that you desire to create has a starting point, okay? It's going to be a place where you absolutely have to start. And in the process, that start has to be developed where you actually are doing the work that is going to create the results that you want. Just because you've been dwelling and hoping and wishing and planning and plotting and strategizing and researching and reading and building out all the things doesn't mean that you're going to be producing the money, attracting the clients, converting the sales, and building the level of success that you thought you wanted to build. Your ability to put forth work requires a process. So one of the things that I do now with my coaching clients, back in the day, I used to think that it was about them knowing a lot of stuff. It was like, well, let me school them on all the stuff that I know so that they can be up to par from a knowledge standpoint. And then I began to realize that At the end of the day, knowing more sometimes becomes a paralysis than it does being an asset. It becomes more of a liability than an asset. And so as I started working with clients in an intent to actually get them to produce results, I realized that all that mattered really when I was coaching and mentoring clients is what do they need to know right now? Not what is good to know, not what is great to know, not what they'll eventually address and face later on. What do they need to know right now? And one of the things that I got my clients to realize is when you're first starting a business, y'all, you only got 3 things to worry about. That's what you're offering to people, who you're offering it to, and how you can get in front of more people to make sales. And so what has happened is I see so many people getting caught up in the development of a thing. They get caught up in the development of a thing. They want to build out a brand, build out a following. They want to build out all these complicated funnels. They want to launch a podcast. They want to launch a YouTube channel. They want to become Instagram influencers. They want to do all these things before you even know who your client is. And so what I did with my clients is I said, we're going to reverse this. Instead of y'all building out all this stuff, we're going to figure out who your client is and we're going to go directly to them. We just going to reach out and we're going to get in front of them by any means necessary, because the more you can get in front of your client and actually have a conversation with them, the more clarity you'll get on what it is that they want, so that you can learn how to get in front of them based on the way that they told you they want to discover you, right? Based on the problems that they said they have, based on the needs that they want fulfilled, based on the desires that they have. And so what I had my students to do is I was like, look, offer free coaching calls, right? So you guys see every Friday, tomorrow is Friday, we're going to have free coaching Friday. We offer free coaching calls. Here's why that's important. Guys, listen, this is something that I see just having been around in business for so long. Your whole goal is to make a connection with a person that needs you. And what happens is the more complication we create, the more all these complicated funnels, and the more we trying to build all this brand and that brand, all these different things that they make us look good, but they're not getting us in front of the customer right now, the more further away we get from our client in the immediacy, right? Doesn't mean those things don't matter, but if you have not made 100 grand in your business yet, you shouldn't be focusing on building a whole bunch of complicated things. Your goal is, how quickly can I get on the phone with my ideal client to tell them who I am, what I do, and how it is that I can help them solve their problem. And when you're getting on the phone with them, it really is about them. It's not about you. It's not about you pitching, selling, trying to force feed your offer, or none of that. It's simply asking questions. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have? What are some of the things that you've been faced with? Why do you feel like you haven't gotten the answers that you needed? What do you feel you need to get you to the finish line? What do you wish you had that you don't really have access to right now? You ask a myriad of questions that they're going to give you the answers to. When you learn the language of your client, you get to speak their love language. When you begin to identify what they're searching for and what they really want, then all the things that you create now is going to be speaking directly to that client. It's going to give you an opportunity to be able to hear what they need. This is a part of the process, right? This is the part that you got to go through in your journey of building a business to be able to understand what the heck you are building. What people don't realize is that you're not building a business for you. You are building a business to service an audience of people that need what you have to offer. Therefore, it's not about you. It's not about your accomplishments and what you've done and all your notoriety. Yes, those things matter when they want to make sure that you have quality expertise in what it is that you do. But it is not about them looking at you in your fancy car, in your fancy clothes, and in your fancy house. What it is them saying, hey, I'm bleeding. Do you have a Band-Aid? Do you have a Band-Aid for, can y'all still hear me? A call came through. I tried to cut it off real quickly. Tell me if y'all can still hear me. Because when a call comes through, sometimes it cuts me off. Can y'all hear? Yes, no, maybe so. Hello, can y'all hear? Can you guys hear what it is that I'm saying? Oh, boy, say, hey, what's up, homeboy? That's to the ATL. We in these ATL streets, y'all. Yes, so that's the thing, y'all. Get to know your clients. You're going to go through a process in your business, okay? And it is not going to happen overnight. It is a constant development of getting to know how you need to build a business to service an ideal client. And what generally tends to happen, I had these conversations. We did a workshop last weekend with my clients, and I had to explain to them. I said, listen, I've been in business online for 15 years, okay? I've been on business online for 15 years. And what happened is I had all these ideas of offers that I wanted to create. In January, I launched the offer and I put it out into the marketplace. I had a real, it was pretty successful. We had 19 students start with us. We ended up with 26 students, which is pretty good launch, right? And we're in our second round of that offer. Y'all, the whole offer has been ripped apart and changed because the students changed it. When the students started showing the confusion, the overwhelm, where they're lost, this is not working, I don't understand this, or you don't see them making progress, it means that what you're giving them is not working for them, right? Doesn't mean that they're not working all the time. A lot of times we think that people are not doing what they need to do. No, sometimes what you put in front of them is not working. So you have to begin to take an assessment. What do I need to alter? What do I need to change? How can I make this process simpler so that my clients can actually feel extremely confident about doing it? So what you put out into the world, y'all, is your ability to take something super complex that people don't understand and simplify it. It's the ability to dumb something down and make it so easy that they be like, oh, I could do that. And they do it. Your goal is to produce something that gets people to take action to produce a desired result. You don't know that by just spending time behind your computer for 6 months, throwing something out there and hoping that somebody buys it. You have to engage in the process. The biggest part of this process is who you're talking to. Y'all, when I first got started online, I put my phone number out there for free all over the internet and told people to call me. Call me, let's talk. I wouldn't do that today. Not at all. Right? Back then, it wasn't nowhere near the shenanigans that it is now. You talking 2007, 2008, right? I put my phone number out there. But every single time I got on a call with somebody, I shot a video to answer the question about the discussion that we just had. So I always produced content from the conversations that I had because I knew if this person is calling me with this question and this concern and they're trying to figure this thing out, so is a whole bunch of other people. They just were bold enough to dial those digits to really get access to me so that they can ask the question themselves. So instead of me sitting up here and still trying to stay in my head and feel like I was brilliant enough to know what everybody was thinking, I let the people tell me what they wanted to hear and I produced content and put it out there. And that's how my phone began to ring. People began to trust me. People began to buy my offers and people began to want to work with me because they realized that I was seeking to provide solutions to the questions and the problems that they had. Many of you guys want your business to explode overnight. You want to make millions of dollars. You want a huge following. You want to build this crazy brand, and you're not connected to the people who are going to do the transactions with you to buy your offers. And so what we have to do, y'all, is pull back just a little bit. All right, let's get out of all the fancy stuff and let's get back to the practical. Who is this for? What are you giving to them? What is the transformation they're going to experience? How is it that they want it to be delivered? What are the simple steps that they need to take to get the desired outcome? You can get on the phone and people will start helping you build your empire, y'all. It will help you build it brick by brick, from conversation after conversation. And what has happened now, we've built such a very arrogant society that once somebody begins to build a brand and build a following, they feel like they're too good to talk to people. But here's the catch. The same people you too good to talk to are the same people you trying to get to pull out a credit card from a funnel or a social media post or something else that you want them to trust you to give you their money, right? It's not going to work that way. Especially after the pandemic. After the pandemic, people have been robbed, right? Everybody had an offer. Everybody had something to sell. Everybody was an expert. Everybody was flossing and showing what they had, whether it was from PPP money, EIDL money, whether it was from the government giving them whatever checks. Everybody was out here with nothing but time on their hands to listen to a ton of people act like they were experts, especially on Clubhouse and things like that, and pitch offer after offer after offer after offer. And what happened? A lot of folks ended up in the wounded warriors pile where it was like, I gave these people all my money and I have nothing to show for it. So now that we're in a different shift economically, you hear all this stuff in the media about what's happening in the industry, recession, whatever is going on. This isn't the time to run and hide and say that I can't make any money. This is the time to show up, to show people who you really are and what you really do, and to show your clients that you care by making yourself present, visible, and accessible to get to know your clients in this season. Because who your clients were in the last season is not who they are today. the same goals and dreams and desires that they had in 2019 and 2020. A lot of that stuff has shifted because of some of the investments they made, the experiences that they've had during. And so we have to play this game smart and always keep your fingers on the shoulders of your client. If you don't do that, y'all, if you get lost in the sauce of your fame and your authority of your business building process, you will be more and more detached from your ideal client, and your revenue is going to be reduced. Your profits are going to plummet. If you do not get to the pulse of your business, which is the people that you are here to serve, you will collapse. You will not have a business. You will struggle. It does not matter how brilliant you are, how much you've accomplished, how much you've made. You got to keep your finger on the pulse of what it is that you do. So that means take time out to invest in your people. Take time out to talk to your people. Take time out to connect with your people. Take time out to answer questions. Ask them questions. Dig deep into where they are. Figure out what it is that they're searching for. And I promise you, when you start doing that, it is going to build up your empire. It will be the very thing that you use for your sales copy, for your webinars, for your master classes, for your live events. It'll be the headlines of your live event, right? I know one of the subtitles for me today is stop following all these guru and expert strategies that are taking you to the poorhouse, right? Because a lot of things that are being taught today is stuff that's taking people money, but not helping them to produce any results. So I am the person that is going to do the complete opposite of what every guru and every influencer and everybody else is doing, because I know that all the stuff that they've been teaching people to do is not working. So sometimes you got to learn what your clients need and become a disruptor. Don't become a duplicate, become a disruptor. That means that you are the ones that's gonna challenge what everybody else is saying and challenge what everybody else is doing. And instead, you're gonna go in a totally opposite direction for the benefit of your client. So if you guys want to know how to take your business to the next level, y'all, put your hands on your people. Let me tell you how we do this. Like I'm in a lot of rooms, right? And I get a chance to see a lot, and I love it. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be around in a lot of these different circles and get a chance to experience and witness what works and what doesn't work. This last weekend, we did a workshop, okay? It was called Get Launched Live. You guys will hear more about it. I'm launching another one in February, and y'all probably need to be in that room. Get Launched Live. So we did this event, and I had a vision, because I was like, man, don't nobody want to keep going to events hearing people talk. Like, you see all these guru conferences. Somebody said the other day, it's like the Who's Who conference where you want to be in the room because it's like 50 people going to grace the stage, right? And you get in there and people motivate you to talk about how they made $40 million in the last year and how your life sucks, right? It's like, man, you can only do so many of these, little hype conferences for so long before you like, well, listen, what am I walking away with? What about me? What are the tools that I have that when I leave this place, I can immediately implement them to enhance my business? And 9 times out of 10, most of these rooms, you don't get it. I'm fortunate to be in a mastermind group and a coach in a community where it's one of the rare breeds out here, and it's very few that can compare to what it is that we do in this mastermind, right? But I was like, I don't want to do events where it's about people just sitting and listening to somebody talk. So I said, what we're going to do is we're going to create this framework to get people to get their offer launched. And there's 5 key steps that people take to get launched out into the marketplace, right? So I said, what we'll do, we're going to create a room for each step. And then when we create the room for each step, we're going to put a coach in each room to work with the students in that room who need to complete that specific task to move to the other room. So we put them in that room. When we got there, we pretty much knew where everybody was because these are my current coaching clients. We had a couple of people who paid to be in a room that's not in my coaching program. And we did a call with them before they came to see what their biggest struggle was, what were their intentions for flying in, because we had a ton of people flying in, and what did they want to walk away with. So after talking to them, we were able to assess, okay, you need to be in room 1 or room 2 or room 3, right? Whatever room they needed to be in. And then when they got there, we pretty much gave them an overview of how the event was going to go. And then we put everybody in their designated rooms with their specific coach. Here's what's so powerful about that. Their coach was able to work with them, explain to them what needed to be done, talk them through the different barriers and challenges that they had, and help them to complete that task. And guess what? A lot of them got to graduate and go into the next room. And the level of excitement that they had to see themselves getting promoted from room to room as they were getting closer and closer to getting their offer launched was like this crazy momentum that they had never felt before. Why did that make a difference? Because how many times have people bought courses and paid coaches and done different programs, and they did all this stuff and they don't know how it's going to result to them getting to the marketplace? But by them being at this event and going from room to room, they saw that, oh, when I get to this room, this is the beta launch room. This is a room that we're going to end up in. It's going to get us out into the marketplace. And it had people so hyped and had them realize like, this is why I got to know this first before I do this. And I can't go to the next room until I got this together. And so we had them circling through until they got to the graduation of getting ready to get launched. And let me tell you what happened. One of the young ladies who just joined me 2 weeks ago, she just joined me 2 weeks ago. Okay. She joined me, and when she called me, she said, I need what you got, right? She heard me speaking and she was like, I feel like you're my coach. I need to work with you. So we had a call. We discovered that she was a great fit for what it was that we were doing. And she was like, I said, what do you need right now? She said, I need more clients. And I said, okay, what do you have? So we looked at what she had. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you launched really quickly with a beta launch. And so we walked her through what that looked like. And we went on ahead and we coached her through. And she came this weekend and we finalized the last little bit of stuff that she needed. Her launch day was on, I think her launch day was November 1st. It was Tuesday. So we had a big celebration for her in our coaching group. Everybody was celebrating. We did a banner for her. Congratulations on your launch day. We're so excited for you. Y'all, she launched. And when she launched, she made on Tuesday, on her launch day, $7,500 from her launch. She just joined me 2 weeks ago. And she said, Coach, everything you told me to do, I did. And she executed quickly. And she got to the marketplace, made $7,500 without all the shenanigans. We literally got her to market in 2 weeks. And she came back and she posted in the group and she said, y'all, I cannot believe this. She said, I've always wanted to have that moment where I can screenshot what I've earned and share it with people. And she talked about the most that she ever made. This was 2.5 times more than she's ever made, right? Like in 1 month doing something like that, right? And so she talked about the fact that she was excited about getting closer. And y'all, we're in the beginning of the month. Her goal was a 10K month. So she's going to hit 10K by the end of this month. But it was because I understood the success for your clients is not them listening to you empower them. Your success for your clients is getting them to sit down and do the work that is going to produce the result, and you being the liaison, the mentor, the guide that's going to help escort them through that process for them to get through the tough pieces and the hard areas that get them to struggle, right? And so we did that. So out of that room, we had about 4 or 5 people ready to go to the market that are going to be launching this month. That's the kind of stuff that makes a big difference. Being a disruptor inside of a very, duplicable society where everybody's doing what everybody else is doing, right? And if y'all want to know more about the next Get Launched Live, go to 1toamillion.co and get on the waiting list. We'll be releasing for Black Friday. We're going to have a Black Friday deal for the next live event. It's February 12th, 13th, and 14th. And here's what's so dope. Y'all, we do dope stuff. And it's dope because we do it based on discernment, of discerning where our clients are struggling and discerning what it is that is frustrating them, discerning the areas that they have fears or feel inadequate. We discern where the needs are, and then we create solutions for that. So one of the things that I noticed a lot of our clients had a hard time doing was telling people what it is that they did. So we created a media day. So we had our videographer work with them. Somebody was off camera asking them questions and working with them to get in the habit of talking about what is it that you do and how do you do it and how does it work? Like, what is the benefit of working with you? We had them asking them questions so that they can get comfortable with answering their area of expertise in a way where they show their confidence, right? So these are the kind of things that we did. But y'all, listen, I am learning while we are building. That is called the process. There is power in the process. I am being patient. That room was small. It was about 21, 22 of us. It was not a large auditorium of 300, 400 people. I'm hearing about so many people spending thousands of dollars to do events and you don't even have an offer. Like, why? Why are we out here trying to do all this stuff, spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to get a hotel room to be on the ground? Like, you got to be ready for that. I reached out to a couple friends who are doing events. I was like, yo, how much is a budget to do something like that? They was like, well, you starting at 40,000. I was like, oh, let me continue to stay in these co-working spaces until I know that I'm ready for the big room, right? It's process. Y'all, I've been in this game 15 years. I'm not on a stage with a room full of 1,000 people yet because I just got clear this year about what I'm doing. That did not exempt me from having to go from the start. I had to start from scratch myself. Now, it doesn't mean I'm starting from scratch. I'm knowledgeable. I understand how things work, but it was implementation and integration time. It was time to take all the stuff you know and become a doer of it, of the word, not just a hearer of the word, right? That is called process. So when we're getting hung up in why I'm not further than where I need to be, why I'm not making more money than I need to be, why my following isn't bigger than it needs to be, why is this and why is that? It's because you have not engaged in the process with where you are at and worked with what you have to build on that thing to get the level of clarity so that you are prepared when the crowd gets bigger. Y'all listen, everybody's not ready for a big crowd, right? I think about a lot of times where I was on a lot of stages and I would be on all these platforms, this person podcast, speaking at this person conference on this stage and, at this event and doing all these things, but I didn't have an offer. So when people would say, well, how can I work with you? I would be like, I don't know, right? Like, get on my list. I didn't have clarity of an offer. I just had a bunch of knowledge. And so I had to pull all the way back, get quiet, sit still and ask God, all right, God, what am I building here? Where am I taking this business and what kind of business am I building and who am I supposed to be working with and how am I supposed to be serving them? And what are some of the key things that I'm supposed to be doing? Because just because you know how to do a thing doesn't mean you should be doing the thing. And I knew there was a lot of things that I knew how to do that I didn't want to do. So I had to get clear on what was I going to commit to that my clients could rely that I'll stick around for on the deliverables and be all fully invested in so that they can get the most impeccable experience because I knew I was in alignment with my offer, not just something that would make me money, but that's something that was going to be exactly where I knew I needed to be, that would make me go all in on my offer, that would allow me to go all in for them to have the greatest experience, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. So when we talk about the process, y'all, it is power in the process. And if you keep finding yourself in this place where you're questioning your progress, it's because you have not engaged with where you are to take the next step. Just like we did this weekend in our Get Launched Live event at the workshop, where we had to get people to get into a room and complete that assignment before they graduate to the next room. You got to complete the assignment with where you are at before you're going to graduate to the next room and the next room and the next room, right? So y'all get on my email list, 1toamillion.co. I have a ton of stuff. I cannot begin to tell y'all how much stuff I got ready to launch. Y'all have no idea how much I work behind the scenes. No idea. I got quizzes that's going to tell you where you are and what stage of business you're at and what you need to be focusing on. I have the Get Launched Live event where we're going to show people how to get launched in 90 days or less. Essentially, by the time you come to this event, if you come live, you'll be launched and ready for the market in 30 days or less, right? I have recurring revenue live coming. Oh, it's a lot coming. It's a lot coming. So these are some things that are happening. Y'all want to go ahead and go to 1toamillion.co, get on my email list. It ain't a game, y'all. Listen, I'm a beast at what I do. Let me just tell y'all that. Let me just break that down. I am a freaking phenomenal beast at what I do. But God said not yet. God had me sitting on the bench or sitting in study hall because I had a lot to learn and a lot to prepare for. So just because you know a lot, can do a lot, experience with a lot, sometimes it's all about God's timing too, about when it's time to come to the market. So we got to understand that. So be okay with the process. Because one of the biggest things I do is surrender to the Lord in everything that I do. And it was a whole lot of stuff that God had to work through me in preparation for the season that I'm walking into. So anyway, I came over here to look for something and I hope I can find it while my phone is about to die. I'm on these streets of the ATL, y'all. We on Peachtree Street. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Go to 1toamillion.co and hey, you guys. Hey, Latrice. Hey, Eric. Hey, Macy. Hey, Dominica. Hey, Shalonda. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to hang this phone up because it's about to die anyway. And I'm looking for a coffee shop. So I love y'all. I will be back to share more wisdom nuggets, but this was just something I wanted to share. Share it with somebody who you know needs to hear it. Get on the waiting list at 1toamillion.co. And y'all get on the waiting list because we're doing Get Launched Live in February. You do not want to be in this room. For all of y'all sick and tired of wasting your time following folks that give you a bunch of missing pieces to a puzzle, you got all these missing pieces to your puzzle and you want to finally get that puzzle piece complete, you're going to complete it when you get up in this room. All right, so I got to go, y'all. Have a great and awesome day. Talk to you later. 1to a million.co. Bye, y'all.